Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Israel Unleashed. And today we're going to talk about how yesterday there was a vote, because we're a democratic country, we vote on everything. And yesterday there in Jerusalem there was a vote about how basically they want to close all the streets in Jerusalem for Shabbat.
When you say they, what do you mean?
I'm sorry, well I mean they, 'cause, you know,
Ultra religious.
ultra religious. Yeah,
Okay.
they want to close all the streets when Shabbat happens, because Shabbat's a very holy day in Israel and
The most holy
the most holy day.
to
And
Jews,
for people
not
who,
only in Israel.
For people who don't know, Friday night to Saturday night, almost the whole country closes down. Nothing's open. It's a day off, because every day people here work 6 days a week, and the seventh day is a day of rest. So Shabbat's a very holy day, and
Like God said on his,
yeah, exactly.
on the stones.
The funny thing, and when we left Egypt, the reason why we celebrate Shabbat is because it's a day of freedom.
Okay,
When we left
you may
Egypt.
say it like that. I have no problem.
So there was a vote yesterday about how
Okay.
the Haredim, the religious people, who they want to close all the streets in Jerusalem, and they want to make it, Shomer Shabbat, as they say.
Okay.
And the people who aren't religious came out with the people who are religious to vote on the subject.
Okay.
And now we have Ellie here, who's religious, and me not so religious. And I don't know. So now we can have difference of opinion. But speaking to a friend yesterday, he went out to vote, and he is religious, and he actually voted against it. He doesn't think that my friend doesn't think that you should close all the streets for Shabbat, because
And he's also religious,
and
right?
he's also religious. But the reason
Okay.
why he doesn't think you should close the streets of Shabbat is because you can't really force religion on people. Either you're religious or you're not religious, basically. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
And in his mind, he's telling me that that you can't force people to to celebrate Shabbat when they don't want to celebrate it, because it's not for everybody, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we are a Jewish state, and this is our identity, and we need to live a certain way, and I agree with that. I mean, I personally have no problem with Shabbat, and I think everybody's entitled to a day off, and you should be how God gave it to you. It's a holy day, and you should keep it that way. I don't think you should change it, but I mean, I can't force my views on another person either, man. I mean, somebody doesn't want to keep the Shabbat, that's his problem. You know what I mean? Everybody has his own path in life, in my opinion.
Well, if you ask me, when God gave us this land, promised us this land, He expected us to keep His mitzvot as much as we can, okay? And to see Israel like every different, like any other country, it's a mistake, okay? Because that way we could have been not to in every other country, but we already here. God gave us, we protect us, trying to protect ourselves from our enemies, and for what? To be as all other normal people in the world? I don't think.
We're not like other people in the world. We're very special people, man. We have
everybody is special,
and we have to live a certain way, man. This is what God has commanded from us.
Yes, our specialty in our things that we should save and keep. So that's right, that everybody has to be who they are, but we as a society shouldn't forget our obligations towards God. And when it's coming to the Shabbat, everybody has their certain way to view the world, and his relationship with God, or his obligation to God. I think on a general level, I cannot make a kid keep Shabbat, okay? But I understand those people who struggle to make a change in this country, and to become making a struggle to in order her to become more religious. I understand them, and they have my approval. Okay, because otherwise, you have also powers in this country to try to her to become secular as they can. Okay, and you may say that this vote for keeping Shabbat, it's just a little more that we can afford to ourselves, but I think this Shabbat is worthy of talking about this. And the people who are religious are obligated to make the environment more religious. What ways are good or bad is something that you can also interpret the way you choose to interpret it. I personally think that when I'm with Kit, I'm influencing on him to become more religious, but I doing it in my own way. Okay, I'm not telling him this and that, but the fact that I'm choosing to spend my time with him, okay, I'm influencing him in a good way.
I thank you.
Okay.
Well, it's funny because our last video we talked about how, like, you know, we spoke about ISIS and stuff, Daesh and stuff, how more extreme religion and the destructive path that it's kind of taken. And I mean,
okay,
it's great to be religious, and sometimes, but I mean, sometimes more fanatical views tend to destroy kind of the core of society, where people don't want to be religious. You know?
Okay.
Because you can't really. Them were forcing people to be religious.
You cannot do it.
And you can't do that, you know, and like they just killed people because they weren't religious, you know what I mean?
I understand.
And I understand that's an extreme way, and I'm not saying that's going to happen here, God forbid, because I don't think that will, but, you know, we do have sects of religion inside our religion that tend to be more extreme than the other, you know what I mean? But but the problem is you can't force people to become something that they don't want to be. I mean, obviously
you cannot force them. No.
You, for example, for you, I can say that, you know, you didn't grow up religious, and you told in past videos that you didn't find out you were Jewish until a later age and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then you married your wife, and you chose to be religious, and you're leading a path that you're leading now.
I chose to be religious and come closer to religion. Well, when I was a soldier in the Israeli army. Yes.
Yeah, but so this was a choice. You weren't born into it, man. When sometimes you have people who are born into religion, it's easy to be religious. But even there, you see that it's not sometimes easy, because being religious is like, you know.
Listen, it's not a way for everybody.
No, it's not a way for. I mean, it's like you have to follow things sometimes that are very I don't want to say extreme, but you have to follow things sometimes, and it's difficult. It's difficult. You know, when you do 1, 2, 3, sometimes it's not easy to do 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean?
When you have a way that guides you towards God, and you know it's the right way to live, you try to adapt it for yourself. But you have to be wise in order to explain everybody else the benefits of it. It's really, you know, something really not quite. How do you say it? It's difficult. Let's say it's difficult because every person is different, and not everybody wants to accept it. It's okay, and it's of course it's fine. But if you, as a religious person, you have to choose between, you know, religion and non-religion, and you for everybody else, and you accept not religion, it's a problematic. If you want to, you know, that people will respect the Shabbat, you let them to drive on Shabbat as much as they want, to do you know, parties whenever they want on this holy land. If you as a religion person prove them this step, you are wrong. That's
sometimes, like, something contradicting plays, you know. You're working 6 days a week, you know what I'm saying, and Saturday is the only day, like, you know, you and the family want to go to the beach.
Yes.
But you don't live next to the beach. And how you're going to get there? You either take the bus or you're going to take a car, or I mean, it's not like something,
I understand.
I understand Israel's small and stuff like that, and I'm not saying you can walk to certain places because it's sometimes it's impossible because there's mountains here, and there's hills and stuff like that. But I mean, a person is going to want to go to the beach, and they're not going to. It's impossible for them to be related.
I understand this person perfectly.
I mean, there is a conflict of interest.
There is a conflict, but there is a good way to solve it.
There is always a good way to solve it, but I mean, sometimes
through discussion, through arguing, but still to remain friends.
Pretty much. I don't know, man. It's an important identity in Israel, man, to have somewhat of a religious state and kind of a secular state. It's important for kind of to be able to balance both of them, I think, personally, because not everyone's going to be religious. Maybe if like the Mashiach would come now and everyone was forced to become religious or something, that's something else. But
when you say will be forced, it sounds like a bad thing.
It sounds extreme, yeah. I don't want to say it in those words, but I mean, like,
But let's say God wants us to be better people, okay?
True.
Part of being a good person, it's not making someone to go on the way you went, right?
True.
Right.
So, it's like you have the 10 Commandments, which are like pretty basic laws on how to live in society.
So when you
you think are easy to follow, but you see that a lot of people don't follow that.
No, it's not easy to follow.
No, not at
all.
It's
a right.
You also have like like the 7 laws of Noah. Out of that like you want people who are not Jewish to follow.
Yes.
And even for them, it's not so easy. You know what I'm saying? But we live in a world of temptation, and
that's right. That's right. I mean? When you have temptations, you have to follow your body needs. Let's say it like that. It's problematic to do what God wants. You cannot make others to do. Yourself is not. I myself, I'm not as good as I wanted to be. Okay, I'm in the middle of the process. And every religion people that you see are in the middle of some process. Okay? And I cannot tell a kid what to do. But people who are secular, and let's say not every secular is not a believer, people who are not believers trying to take over this country, it's also not good. It's absurd.
No, not at all.
It's gonna not
like
be like
that. Those kind of people take over this country, then there'd be, they'd basically deal away with Shabbat, and you'd see the trains and the buses working, and we'd be like everybody else. And then where would our identity be?
Worse than anybody else. Jews brought this day off to the world. Right. If we will act like them, we have no day off. Why to rest when you can work, right?
Right.
It's not logical. Why to have a family when you can sleep whenever you want? Why have those bounds? Why?
I hear you. I mean, the funny thing is that, like, Shabbat, man, after the hectic part of the week and what goes on, your children are going to school, you're going to work, your wife's going to work, and you got all sorts of things going on in life, good, bad, drama, whatever. Shabbat's one day of the week where, the family sits around the table.
Okay, I read you. Okay.
Sits around the table and spends time with each other. If you have a family, of course. I mean, if you don't have a family.
If God gave you family.
Yeah, if God gave you family, God willing, that you, it's the perfect time for you to sit with your children and spend time and get to talk about the week and what's going on with them and how they're doing and share the love, the warmth, the wealth, and eating. Eating is a big thing, man. You need food to survive, but and
it's connecting people.
It's connecting people, man, and you'd be surprised how much it connects people, and when it brings people together like that, it makes it special.
Yes.
So this is what makes Shabbat special, I mean, everybody, I guess, celebrates it in its own way because it's it's a day of freedom, and it's a day that that God's given to you and Himself to have a day off, to enjoy your time. When you're with your time with your family, that's the most special moment you're going to remember forever. It's important to.
There is more special too from that.
Yeah.
When you dedicate it to God.
Exactly. when you dedicate it to God, I mean, it's like you have you get more like something holiness from it. You know what I mean? It's important to. Honestly, it's important to feel good, but I mean, the problem with some things sometimes is that like life's already a struggle. You know what I mean?
Of course, it's a struggle. Even if you are a bad person, it's a struggle for you. Struggle for
Even
everybody.
for a good person, I mean, everybody has struggles and problems and drama
And tests and yes,
I mean,
hardships, of course.
I don't know anybody who doesn't go through the same things I do. You know, I mean, they all go through it maybe differently or whatever, but a lot of the same people go through the same situations as I do. I mean, sometimes I find myself giving advice to people of things I've already gone through, and I know I already went through it, so I know how to give somebody advice for it. You know what I mean? I mean, if I don't know, I mean, like, you have people giving advice to people, they just kind of talk it out their ass. But I mean, like, I mean, I've actually had experience in certain things where I was able to give advice to people about, how I handled it, and maybe this is how you should handle it. You know what I mean? Help people out, but it's important to, it's important to like have some sort of balance in life, and I think sometimes Shabbat gives you that. I mean, I love Shabbat, man. I think it's a special day and it's holy, and I personally think you should keep it holy.
Everybody understands
Not only do
those
I think
things on different levels.
I think you should. I think it's important. You know what I mean? Not all the times I think you have the right to do everything you want to do. You have free will, yes, but I mean, it's like Yom Kippur. I mean, it's like if you're not religious at all, and you have you should give God one day out of the year at least.
When you say you should, it's also a matter of your choice.
It is
You
a matter
sure
of your
should.
choice. I mean, if you don't care and you're like, whatever, that's on you. But I mean, in the end, whatever, it's about your salvation in life. And I mean, salvation is important, man. Everything you've done from the beginning to the end or whatever, and how you're going to be judged in the end, I think it's important, man. You know what I mean? Because that shows what kind of character and who you are. You know what I mean? And it's important to keep like, something holy in yourself, because if you have something holy in yourself, you have a piece of God in you. And if you have a piece of God in you, and you're doing what He's asking you to do, then, I think you're getting rewarded in the end, man. And, this is the ultimate thing that pretty much everybody wants, yeah?
Okay.
I mean, it's like, if I say to you, I want to go to heaven, I'm saying, and if I'm going to go to heaven, I mean, I have to do right, you know what I mean? And if I have to do something right, I have to do what God asks me to do, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's not easy, obviously, because life is a struggle.
It's not easy at all. It's not supposed to be easy. It's a struggle between your animal nature
It's a struggle, but I mean,
and the values.
I think it's about how you're supposed to handle it, you know what I mean? It's a test. How are you going to pass this test, you know what I mean?
Eventually.
How are you going to handle it?
In the beginning, you're not passing this test.
No, I mean,
You're
some
supposed to fail.
tests you pass and sometimes you don't. It's like in school.
There are tests that you passed, but mostly.
And sometimes you have tests that you don't pass, but I mean, like, it's okay. I mean, it doesn't make you a bad person or a good person.
It
is what it
shows
is.
you where you
This
at.
is life, This is the experience you get, man. I mean, like, sometimes I listen to music a lot, and I hear, like, a lot of times you hear musicians say, like, you go through life, they talk about their trials and tribulations in life. You go through life, and when it's through, then you have an understanding of all that. In a way that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? You don't really understand the big picture until kind of you've gone through all the experience that you needed to go through, you know what I mean? And, they say the older you get, the wiser you are, you know what I'm saying? But,
the bigger picture you see.
Yeah. But I mean, like, doing Shabbat sometimes, it's a lot about sitting down and relaxing and not really forcing yourself, but giving yourself the rest that your body needs.
The minute you understand.
And sometimes, as a child, you have so much energy and it needs to come out, and if you have to sit down and relax, it's not just an easy thing when you're already moving, you know what I mean? Because when you're a child, you're like, you can't stop because of all the energy you have that you need to get out, man. Because once you get it all out, you go to sleep like a baby, man, till the next day. But when you realize what the truthfulness of like this special day is and what the real meaning behind it, then you get to cherish it. But not all the time in the beginning you understand what the cherishing of that is. Maybe it does come with age and comes with wisdom, then it's important, But like, once you have it, once you get it and you do it and you follow through on it, then you reap the rewards that, that's promised to you, or the way you feel, man, also helps you get to that point of achievement too, you know what I mean? But personally, I mean, I don't know, when it comes to the voting or what they were doing in Jerusalem, I mean, I find it kind of like exciting that they actually made something like that happen. Like they actually put it to a vote. You know, to hear what people had to say, and it's nice to give people their word about what they think instead of forcing it on people. You know what I mean? Because honestly, people who are extremely religious just want to force this on people because that's the way.
That's what you think about religion?
I'm just saying, like extreme people. I know I have extreme religious friends who this is how they think. You know, it should be this way and that's way only.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that because you're religious that's how you think, but
no, it's okay. I just wanted to ask you in order to know how do you feel about it.
I have a couple friends who live in Mal Sharim, which is a very religious neighborhood in Jerusalem. It's one of the most religious in Jeruson.
Yes, I also have a friend from
there. And and they feel that way. The street should be closed. Everything should be closed.
But wait a second.
Yeah.
They think of this of their street. The street
no, they talk about everything.
Everything?
Yeah, the movie theater, all that. You know what I mean? Like nothing should be open. Literally, the whole town should be closed. This is. I mean, I see their point, and then when we talk about it, whatever.
They have a point. Their point is strong.
That's true.
But the thing is,
I mean, this is the funny thing about Judaism. I mean, like you can have 3 guys with 17 different opinions.
But wait with the jokes. Wait with the jokes. We're on a serious program here.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say. But the problem is this point that it has no attachment to the people's hearts.
Right.
You know?
True.
Our direction is to show everybody, Jews and non-Jews, that there is a way of God. Okay?
There's definitely a way of God, but the funny thing is that like with Shabbat, it's not like a mental, physical thing. It's more of a spirituality thing.
I agree.
You know what I mean? In Judaism, spirituality makes a very big point in effect of how you, as a Jew, are.
The spiritual should lead before the materialistic things.
True.
That's our way of
the spirit tends to be more cleaner than the actual.
Of course.
The actual body, you know what I mean? Because honestly, the spirit comes from the soul.
And the soul comes from God.
Yeah.
And God is good.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
So what I wanted to say is that when we have some sort of way to make people go towards God, we shouldn't make them by power to do some things, okay?
Right.
But we do want to influence them towards the good way.